Hello and welcome back to the True Crime Guys podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Michael.
Oh boy, how we doing? I got some coffee. I'm ready to talk some moida.
Oh man, me too, bro. Me too. I'm excited about this case. It's a fairly new case, right?
I'd be more excited if we had a coffee sponsor. We really need a coffee sponsor.
We do, man. Come on,
hit us up if you know somebody that owns a coffee company, or if you own one, small business makes coffee, and you can ship us some. We'll talk about your product.
That's right.
Hopefully it's good.
Right. Hopefully it's good.
But we'll talk about it nonetheless, and we'll drink it.
But most gourmet coffees are good, right? I mean, there's a reason that somebody went through all the trouble to make their gourmet independent coffee company, right? Because they're dissatisfied with all the brands that are out
about
there.
it. Because I'm sure it takes. I mean, there are some very lucrative ones, but most of them are probably, they're not millionaires from it. They just love it. They're passionate about it.
Right. Like there's a lot of coffees
like this
that
podcast.
That's right. And there's a lot of coffees that would fit good with podcasts, like Death Wish coffee, for instance.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
That would go great. Bones coffee, go great. Hey, we talk about bones. We talk about death. Come on. Throw us a bone here, right? No pun intended. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But nonetheless.
So you ready to go back to the South, my friend?
Let's do it. Might as well. We've been hanging out here the past few weeks. Hang out in the South here in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's only about 3 hours from me, man. That's probably 30 minutes from where I went to college. That's just across the North Carolina state line there, buddy. East Tennessee.
All right. That's good. I don't know. Have we done any Tennessee cases?
Oh, yeah.
We had to have.
Oh, yeah. For sure we have. I think Judith and Alvin Neely, didn't they come from Tennessee? That's been a long time ago. Remember them?
Yeah, man, I barely remember them. I sure as hell don't remember where they came from.
They were in the South somewhere. I want to say it was Tennessee. It might have been Georgia. But we've definitely hit some Tennessee cases over the years, no doubt. Right. We've done a lot in Tennessee, a lot in Kentucky. It's kind of like you said, it seems like middle America there because especially, I mean, they're a little bit off the coast. So a lot of those people still, middle of Tennessee, middle of Kentucky, they haven't even seen the coast. A lot of them are in small coal mining towns and whatnot. And I don't know, man. I think that kind of breeds a lot of crime out of desperation in those areas. A lot of crime goes unnoticed in those areas as well because they're impoverished.
Well, I stumbled upon an ID Discovery TV show on Hulu called Murder in the Heartland. Mm-hmm. Stumbled across this episode called The Friends You Keep and watched it, and I was like, this would make for a good episode. It's interesting.
No doubt.
So, yeah, let's dive into it.
All right, man. Let's do it.
Saw him in the mirror, he was coming up behind her, and no matter what, he always seemed to find her. She glanced through the peephole, he was there. She was running out of time and running out of options, so she called a guy that I call toxic. And when he showed up, she thought the threat was gone. Really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. Really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now.
This man crept into her backyard at 3 o'clock in the morning in her cover of darkness, dressed in all black from head to toe. They're going to tell you that they don't sleep through the night anymore because of what he did.
Really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. Really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. Really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now. I really hate you, but I need you right now.
All right, for our case this week, we are going down to Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hot damn.
And we're going to meet a young lady named Emma Walker, who we all would have liked to have met. She seemed like a very lovely young lady.
Yes. Yes.
She was born March 20th, 2000 in Knoxville, Tennessee, and shares a birthday with Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park, rest in peace, Spike Lee, and Sting, the wrestler.
Wow.
Quite a group.
That is a good
Quite
group,
a
man.
group.
That's a good group, man. Quite a influential
Smorgasbord.
group. That's an influential group right there. You're talking about Chester
No doubt.
Bennington. He defined a lot of people in our generations, that teen angst, like that first screamo rock band. When I first heard Crawling in My Skin when I was like in middle school or whenever the hell it was, I was like, yes, this is what I need. So relatable. And it's Spike
That album's
Lee.
like 22 years old now, by the way.
I know. It's 22 years old. So
It'll
I
blow
was
your mind.
so I was like 10 when it came out. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
And then Spike Lee, Hall of Fame director, if you would say that. And then Sting, man, Sting. He's gonna go down in history. He's like in that class with Hulk Hogan and The Big Show and The Rock when he first started and all that shit, man. Like Ric Flair. Woo! It's like this is a hell of a group right here. Hell of a group.
Yep.
All right.
And she belonged in it. She was a great young lady. Emma Walker had a great, loving family. Her father, Mark, mother, Jill, and one sibling, a younger brother named Evan. Emma was known for being extremely kind and pleasant to everyone. She was a beautiful person with a caring soul, loving and kind to everyone. Quote from her mom: "She was a daughter, a sister, a friend. She would act silly and didn't care what other people thought. She didn't care about being in a certain group. She was friends with everybody."
Right.
And because this was, Emma was going through high school in the 2000s like us.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of video of her being silly, and like she was right before the TikTok era, or else her friend said she might have gone viral on there for some silly dance she did or something like that.
Yeah, I got you. It was probably she was in the Vine era, like with us probably.
Well, no, she was. You know what? She was quite a bit younger than us. Now that I think about it, she was in high school in 2014.
Yeah, she's born in 2000, so I got about 10 years on her. So yeah,
I got 13 on her.
Yeah.
More quotes from her mom. She was involved in her community. She had a job and was an honor student. She was independent. She was an independent little thing and could be stubborn and sassy. She marched to her own drum. And she wanted to be either a pediatric nurse or a veterinarian. So it's clear in her potential career choices that she would have gone on to help people or animals. That's just kind of how she was.
Right. She seemed to have that heart for that.
Yeah. Emma had a passion for cheerleading as well, and was the only freshman to make it onto the Knoxville Central High School cheerleading team in 2014.
And see, that's probably
no joke. The only freshman on the team.
I was about to say, and that's kind of a big deal because Knoxville is a pretty good sized city. I mean, it kind of marks the whole east side of Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the big city over there on the east side. So for her to be the only freshman to make it, that's saying something. That's definitely saying something.
Yeah, and it was during her freshman year that she met a boy named Riley who was 2 years older than her and on the high school's football team. He was known to be a Star Wars nerd who actively attended church. He wasn't like a lot of the other jocks.
Right.
He still hung out with his boyhood friends and played a lot of video games with them, but he was also a really good wide receiver on the team and actually went on to play college ball at wide receiver as well. So.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know he went to play college football.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Emma and Riley would go on to have an on and off again relationship, not uncommon for high school. They would fight, break up, get back together, that sort of thing. Very common.
A lot of factors while you're in high school.
Yeah, definitely. By 2016, when Emma went into her junior year, though, Riley had gone off to Maryville College, about 30 minutes from Knoxville. So he was a couple years older than her. And when he went off to Maryville College, she had seen him in some photos online with other girls, and she decided to end their relationship at that point.
That sounds so
which
typical,
was already
doesn't
rocky
it?
as it is.
I mean,
so it was kind of like a final straw.
Right. And this sounds like the typical high school relationship when one is older than the other. When whoever the other one is goes off to college, they meet all these new exciting people, and of course, I mean, with more freedom.
Then the internet's there to broadcast it to everyone.
That's right.
If you're not posting it, one of your boys is going to be posting videos of the party on Snapchat, and all of a sudden there you are in the background with some chick.
That's right. It's so easy.
It's impossible to avoid these days.
No doubt. If you were there, somebody took a picture of you.
That's right. So in her junior year at Central High School, Emma was a member of the cheerleading squad, HOSA, which is the Health Occupation Students of America. I had to look that one up.
I was actually part of that, and the Beta Club.
Oh,
as
were
well.
you?
Yeah, Health Occupation Students of America. I was part of that HOSA. Yep.
Okay, and what's the Beta Club then?
Beta Club is basically like the honor roll club or whatever. You have to maintain a certain grade average to be accepted in the Beta Club.
You were in that too?
Yeah.
Well, look at Smarty over here.
I went to a little school, bro. Wasn't much competition. Little hick
I was
school,
part of the
you know what I'm
Alpha
saying?
Club, bro. You don't know about that.
Listen, if you didn't drive your lawnmower to school, you got accepted into Beta Club. You know what I'm saying? That's- I'm kidding.
She was also a part of Young Life, which I'm not sure what that one is.
I don't
either.
know what
that
that
shows
is.
you how many clubs I was a part of in high school.
That sounds new, though. This Young Life thing, that sounds kind of new. I'll look that up, but you can carry on.
I was a part of the go to school, and then when school ends, you walk home and eat some chicken nuggets and watch sports talk. That was what I would do.
Oh, okay. Hey, dude, that's the club everybody really wanted to be in. If we're being honest with ourselves.
Right.
No, listen.
It was a good time.
Yeah, when I played after
Nugget
school
Club.
sports, there were times I really envied the kids that could just go home. And I'm like, I know that kid's just going home to fucking just smoke a joint with his friends and play video games. I'm like, look how excited he is to get out of school. And I got like 4 more hours of ball practice. I'm like, fuck,
Right.
who's really winning here? No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? Senior year, I ended up playing football in my senior year, so I got
you go.
used to the whole staying after, going to 2-a-days during summer and all that stuff. But yeah, my freshman through junior year, it was pretty much just go straight home from school and play video games with my
man.
friends, like you said, and all that.
You were living it up. All right. So Young Life, this makes perfect sense as to why you wouldn't know about it. But, well, actually, it was created in Colorado, which kind of surprised me. But it's a religious organization based in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The organization was started in Gainesville, Texas in 1941 by Presbyterian minister Jim Rayburn, and it operates now globally. So it's like a religious club, I guess, that these kids could meet in. And that makes perfect sense in Tennessee.
So yeah, her junior year, she had everything going for her. She's a part of all these clubs, maintaining a very good grade average. And yeah, but however, unfortunately, the reason we're covering this case is soon her life would be cut short, and it would happen in her own bed and shock the world.
This is a
At about
terrifying
3:45
case. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
The way this went down
this one
is
scares the shit out of me.
It really does. It's like you think you've heard it all in true crime, guys, and you think that you're paranoid enough and you have things covered. Just hang on, because we got a surprise for you.
Yeah, you think your young teen daughter is safe being in her own home, right?
Right.
Like you got everything locked down, and
You got a security system?
then you find out
good.
someone doesn't even have to get into the home in order to kill them.
Dark
So
case.
at about 3:45 a.m. on November 21st, 2016, Emma's dad heard a loud banging noise in the house. He said that he thought someone slammed a door inside the house.
Right.
So he hears it once, and he kind of like passes back out, and then he hears it again. And at that point, he gets up and goes to check on the kids. He walks to Emma's bedroom, opens the door, and he sees her asleep in bed. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then he walks to her younger brother's room, checks on him. He's sleeping in his bedroom.
All good.
And nothing seemed to be wrong, so he went back to bed. However, at 6 a.m. that morning, Emma's mom went into her room to wake her up for school, something she did every school day. And usually Emma was very good about getting up, unlike me. My mom would have to throw shit at me, be yelling back and forth. It was not pretty, but she would wake right up. However, this morning she did not wake up. Her mom went in and even got to the point where she shook her legs, still nothing. She then realized that Emma was cold to the touch and had no pulse. Emma was dead. She obviously frantic, called 911. The 911 audio is available online. It's basically just her mom panicking, frantic,
And
crying.
it is heartbreaking. I mean, this is like every parent's
is.
worst nightmare right here.
Yeah.
You just wake up and your child is gone. Like, no explanation. You didn't hear nothing. This is
And there was no
terrifying.
physical sign initially that,
my God.
that she'd been
She looks like
directly
she's
harmed.
asleep,
It was,
right? She looked like she was asleep when she found her.
Yeah. So upon arrival, the paramedics immediately thought Emma had tried to commit suicide by overdose, because a young person like this doesn't just die of natural causes very often,
Right.
So they assumed it was some sort of a suicide. However, they then found blood under her pillow, blood on her pillow underneath her head, and they eventually found a hole above her left ear. and it became apparent that she had been shot while she slept. However, how the hell would someone have gotten in there to do such a thing when the house was locked down?
Right.
There was no signs of forced entry into the home. It was clear no one had gotten into the house.
Yeah.
So when detectives arrived, they looked around. They took a step back and just kind of like took in the whole picture instead of just checking out Emma, like what's going on in this room. And they were able to find 2 small holes in the walls of her bedroom, and they were on each end of her bed. Like her bedroom was on the corner of the house.
Right. And her bed was tucked in that corner.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. And so someone had gone to each side of the corner of her bedroom and shot 1 round, which met at a center point. If you were to do like those sticks they do and go through the holes, they met with each other at like a 90-degree angle right where Emma's head was. It was clear whoever had done this had stalked her to the extent where they knew not only where her bedroom was, but where her bed was.
That is so creepy,
and had fired 2 shots, and one of them striking Emma in the head while she slept. Not only this, the person would have had to jump a fence between shots. They fired 1 shot, jumped a fence, and then fired the other shot.
And the second shot is what woke the father up. Well, he heard the first shot, right?
Yeah.
If going back, he heard
both
the
of
first shot, and then he was like, what? Because you got to think, you don't hear those sounds very cleanly when you're asleep. Like, it may startle you awake, and you may catch the end of it. But like you said, and in this small suburban country town, he just assumed it was a door slam.
You don't expect it to be what it was.
No, who could? Who would suspect this? This is insane.
So the detectives are a little bit miffed, like, how does something like this happen? Then they learn about some strange events of the 2 days prior to Emma's death, and a man in black. Emma's mother told detectives that she had been her daughter had been receiving threatening text messages for the past few days and had been being stalked by a man wearing all black, head to toe. And so in the morning, on the day before her death, November 19th, Emma was driving home from staying at a friend's house. They'd had a football game the night before, and after the football game, they all went to a friend's house for a sleepover. The next morning, when she was driving home from the sleepover, she entered her neighborhood and saw a man dressed in all black walking through the neighborhood. And when he spotted her driving through, he acted very suspicious. He immediately turned away and put on sunglasses as she was passing him.
That's not
minutes later.
At all.
I know, right? Minutes later, after she got into her driveway and parked her car, got into the house, the man in black was at the door, attempting to get inside, pounding on the door, ringing the doorbell. She obviously didn't let him inside the house, and understandably freaked out. She texted her ex-boyfriend at this point, that we mentioned how Riley and her had broken up. She texted him saying, "I hate you, but I need you right now."
Yeah, she must have been terrified because they were not on good standings at this point. Like, he was being extremely possessive, and they were not in good standings.
Yeah.
But
no one else, but at this point, she still needs. Her parents weren't. I think her parents were not close enough by to get there quickly.
Right.
She needed someone to respond that she knew would get there. Riley quickly rushed to the house. He said that he was already driving around. He was out on the roads and rushed to the house. When Emma's mom finally got to the house, she found him, and she found Riley and Emma sitting there in the driveway talking. She asked Riley to leave. Shortly following Emma's highly publicized murder, word got out that she had been being stalked by a man in black, and a neighbor from an adjacent street thought, you know what, maybe my security camera, she had a camera that kind of faced the entrance to the neighborhood for things like this, exactly.
Yeah.
And so she thought she searched over like 47 hours of surveillance footage from her driveway facing the street and was able to spot the man in black walking through her neighborhood.
See, sometimes Karens come in handy.
Yeah.
Because, I know that's what you were thinking when you saw this lady. You're like, oh, here's the neighborhood Karen. She knows all.
She did have the Karen haircut.
She caught everybody, man. I mean, who faces one of your house cameras towards the entrance to the neighborhood? Like, I mean, I get it, but you're being nosy, though, at the same time. But that's convenient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, most of the time, those cameras weren't used to catch suspicious people in the neighborhood. Let me just put it to you that way. I just feel like she was probably over the HOA as well. And she's keeping track of everybody's comings and goings.
Yeah, last time she used that footage was like when somebody didn't take their trash up within time, and
Right.
they tried to tell her that, oh, I was at work, and then she looks back, she's like, no, it looks like you got home at 9 a.m.
Yep.
and the trash was still there at 10 a.m.
That's
so.
right. Look at this timestamp. Sorry, honey, you're gonna have to pay the fee. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, nonetheless, she captured the footage of the man walking through the neighborhood in black, which corroborated Emma's mom's story
There you go.
about this stalking incident, and the footage was given to the police. There was not a whole lot they could do with it, though. It's basically just a man walking through a neighborhood dressed in all
Now-
black, looking very suspicious.
Well, yeah, very suspicious. You could tell by his body language he was walking. He wasn't running and he wasn't speed walking, but this dude
Just
had
walking briskly.
He had somewhere to be. He had somewhere to be very quickly, which is very suspicious.
Yeah. And so friends and family members of Emma presented police with a theory on who the man in black was. It was pretty obvious to everyone involved, everyone that knew Emma and knew the situation. And we'll get to that in a second. But on November 18th, 2 days before the murder, we mentioned how there had been a couple days prior to the murder that where some strange events had happened.
Right.
So we mentioned the day before with the man in black when she got home from the party. Well, let's talk about the night before. They go to the football game, big high school football game. Emma's obviously a member of the cheerleading squad. Following that game, she went to a friend's house for a sleepover. When she was at the friend's house, she started getting some scary texts from an unknown number. The text started out by saying, "Come outside alone if you don't want to see a loved one get hurt." Her and a friend, one of her male friends, went outside and nothing. There was nothing out there.
Right.
When she got back inside, the text said, "What part of coming outside alone don't you understand?" The text was telling her to go to your car with your keys, go alone. I've got someone you love. If you don't comply, I will hurt them. Very scary.
Yeah.
Unless you're convinced it's a prank or something along those lines. But
Right.
didn't seem to be. It was clear someone was there watching the house, because when she went out with a friend the first time, then they respond. It's almost like Scream, like the movie Scream.
I was just about to say this is straight out of a horror movie. Whoever this is was highly inspired by horror movies. And getting that second text though, it's got to make your heart drop. When you go back inside and it's like, "What don't you understand about coming out alone?" It's like, okay, shit.
Right. Yeah,
This is
they're
for
watching,
real.
for sure.
They're actually out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the text continued, "If you'd like to hear his crying and screams, give him a call." Not saying directly who this is about, but, one would be led to believe that it was either her dad or her, maybe Riley, her ex-boyfriend.
Or possibly her brother
someone
Evan.
she cares about. Do what?
Or her brother Evan.
Or her brother
She has
Evan.
a
Yeah, I
younger
didn't think
brother
about
as
that.
well.
Yeah. So eventually the person would give up on abducting young Emma this night, but they did text and said that there was a body outside in the bushes. Like, you fucking imagine?
Oh my
Like,
God.
holy shit. We know someone's been out there watching us. Now all of a sudden there's a body in the bushes. Mm-hmm. So when they walked outside yet again, they did find a man face down in the bushes, but they soon realized that it was her ex-boyfriend, Riley. Riley was very much alive, but he appeared confused and claimed that someone had kidnapped him. He said that he had no idea where he was or how he got there. He kept rubbing his head as if someone had hit him there. After a brief and nonsensical interaction between Riley and the group, he ended up calling a friend to pick him up. So this is why I say that everyone that knew Emma
This is
really
so
well and
sus.
knew her relationship with Riley pretty much assumed that it was him that was the man in black
Right.
that had perpetrated this crime, because the person would have known exactly where she slept. Riley would have known right where she slept, and he was exhibiting extremely possessive, dangerous behavior leading up to this. There had
Yes.
been a lot of texts that we'll go through that he had sent to her that were threatening. And then there was this event, which there's just no getting past this. It's very clear that Riley was... I mean, to think that people are going to believe you that you were kidnapped after all this.
Oh, I know. And it's so funny that it says, "I have someone you love outside." It's like he's the only one that would have said that at this point. He's the only one that would have thought that she actually loved Riley, because that was apparent. She's broken it off time and time again. If she truly loved him, they would be together. There was nothing stopping them.
Yeah. So the more the police learned about Emma and Riley's relationship over the past few years, the more they became convinced that he was the man in black and Emma's killer, and that's what everyone was telling them as well. Emma's mom was convinced from the get-go. She'd seen the Snapchat messages that Riley had sent.
Yeah.
That were very threatening, basically threatening her life at times.
Yeah, listen, parents aren't always right, but a lot of times your mama is about somebody. Right?
This scares the shit out of me with my daughter, and I'm sure with you, because this is much more likely than your daughter just getting randomly abducted in a location and harmed. This is like you never know what kind of a boy that can be charming. Like he was a charming and smart and athletic young dude. There were no signs initially that he was going to turn out to be a psychopath like this,
except for those black eyes.
I guess.
Dude, listen, the first picture I saw of him, I didn't know anything about this case, right? And it was just on the documentary that we watched on Hulu. I saw him, and I was like, I mean, of course, you're sus of everybody, right? You're watching a murder documentary, so you have to factor in that. But when I looked at pictures of this guy, like he has those eyes. He has those hollow eyes like Ted Bundy has.
Like Ted Bundy, and that crooked smile, too. He's got a bit of a crooked Grinch smile going on.
Right, and he has those eyes that's where it's like in certain photos, it almost looks like one eye is kind of off to the side a little bit. It's like it wanders just a tiny bit. I don't know how to describe it, but it's
thinking about murder.
Yes.
That eye.
Yes, that eye's like,
drifting off.
What about...
It's fantasizing.
That eye's like, what about the dark side? And it's like kick to the side. Like, I don't know.
Right.
It's like you got one... I don't know how to describe it, man, but it's just like with dogs, like we've talked about before. Some dogs have those eyes where you're like, okay, there's a soul in there. Like this dog understands emotions and feelings and love. And then some dogs
like
don't.
My Maddies.
Yeah, exactly. And some dogs are just killers, or they're just animals. Like they're canines. They're predators.
Yeah, some of them you look at them, you're like, okay, don't bring my kid close to that one.
Right, exactly. We'll keep our distance. And when I saw Riley for the first time, that's kind of what I thought. Like I felt like something's kind of off with this kid. And then you factor in the craziness of just being a teenager and being a teenager now, like you said earlier, where everything you do is broadcasted in public. Nothing is a secret. There's always someone there to tweet about it or take a picture or to tag you in a post where you didn't want to be tagged. And the stress and these relationships and all this shit, it just pushes kids, I think, further and further. And as teenagers, they're constantly seeing the most extreme online, right? They're constantly seeing the world's most extreme.
Not only that, I haven't really thought about it, but dating as a teenager now has got to be brutal because as soon as you break up, you're inevitably going to hear about or see, even if she blocks you. Let's say if you're Riley and Emma breaks up with you, you're immediately going to start seeing like photos of her with her new boyfriend all over the internet. Or I'm not saying that happened in this case because I don't believe Emma was dating anybody after her, and I think she was too busy.
I think so too.
But like, let's just say like anybody, like me. Let's say I was a teenager right now and I broke up with some girl. Like all of a sudden I can see all over the place. That's got to be brutal because that wasn't really a thing.
Right, and then
when we were growing up, or anybody before us grew up, it was like you broke up, and then hopefully you just didn't see them anymore, and you didn't have to be faced with them dating some new guy or whatever.
Right, and then some of your friends who were shared, they picked a side. They either they stayed with you or they stuck with her or whatever, and you just kind of split up. But now you're right. You see all this stuff online, and you see passive aggressive tweets about you. You see, just all kinds of shit like that. It's like people putting up Facebook statuses like so much better without him, and just stuff like that. Just little shit that can really feed the fire. Away at your ego. Yeah, it can really feed the fire of a bruised teenage ego, and I think that's why these kids take to this extreme. They really do. It's like they put their whole lives in these relationships.
And so, what would you do if you saw your daughter? She meets some young dude, some young Riley, and he's got. Well, shit, that's your son's name, right?
It is. It is my son's name, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's
but let's say she meets some young dude like Riley, and you see you're automatically you're looking in his eyes. You're like, oh, he's got that wandering eye. How do you approach that?
And it's not
That's
so much
tough.
the wandering eye; it's the hue as well, and just the way that they don't typically make eye contact. I hate that as well. How do you deal with that?
It's tough because your daughter's obviously going to see the best in them. She's not going to see.
Right.
She's going to think you're just being, an overprotective father, and you're wrong.
Dude, I think the only way, and I know this doesn't even always work, but the only way to protect them from these relationships is to consistently show them what a relationship should look like. And
that's true.
I think too often, parents in relationships, they stay together for the kids, and the kids can see that it's not happy. And then what you're doing is you're showing them that that's okay to stay with somebody you're not happy with. These kids aren't stupid. They realize that you don't want to be with them. They realize that dad's always in the man cave, or he's always working late, or mom's always going shopping or going out with their girlfriends or whatever, and not spending time together. Like, they see that stuff. They realize that parents are just staying together for the kids. And I think it's a bad example because now teenagers, they get someone and they're like, well, yeah, we have problems in our relationship. He's a little bit possessive, but, my dad's kind of like that. He's blah, blah, blah with my mom or whatnot. And I think that's where a lot of parents fail. It's not that they have bad intentions for their children. It's not that they don't advise their children in the correct way. It's just that example that you're setting on a daily basis is way more powerful than anything you can tell them to do or not to do.
Right.
And
and I think you go into it with an open mind. Okay, let's look past the black eyes for now until he shows me, something to be concerned about.
Absolutely.
Which in this case, Emma and Riley, there were signs almost immediately that Riley was, did not have the best of intentions for Emma. He was very possessive and all that. And we'll go through all that. Once you see those signs, though, I think then you have to be more direct.
Well, listen,
with
they
them
did
at that point. Like, be like, look, this is not okay what he's saying to you. I would never say this to your mother. Like, this is scary what he's saying.
Right. But there's only so much you can do if she continues to see him.
That's true.
I mean, they did everything.
That's what's so scary about it. That's what's so scary about it.
I mean,
It's like,
they
it's
did
almost
everything.
Like the harder you try to stop it, it's like the more you just push it in that direction.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. The only thing you can do is just set that example. Because once they get to a certain age, especially 18, 19, 20, it doesn't matter what you say anymore, mom or dad. Like, if
or
they
at a
love
certain
that
point,
person,
if you send my daughter a Snapchat saying "I'll see you in the obituary," then it's I'm not talking to my daughter anymore. Then I'm just gonna find this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And he's gonna end up in a ditch somewhere. That's what's gonna happen.
Right. Well, they didn't know about that though. The parents didn't know about that, I'm sure, until afterwards. Right. I'm sure.
The mom was seeing some of these Snapchat messages that were very alarming.
Oh, really? She saw that one in particular?
She knew. She knew. That's why she couldn't stand Riley. That's why when he was in the driveway the day of the Man in Black incident, she was pissed. She was fucking angry, and she wanted him out of there.
Well,
because she was pretty sure he was the Man in Black already at that point.
Right. Okay, so you also have to consider this, Lauren. All this really creepy, like almost criminal intent shit happened within only 2 days. So you have to kind of give the parents a little bit of leeway here, because they didn't think this was going to escalate in just 2 days to this point. I feel like they thought, well, they're just passionate. They're just hormonal teenage kids. He's saying a bunch of shit he doesn't mean. We don't want to ruin his life. Maybe he'll back off if we stay firm with him.
The messages that have been going on for a lot longer than the 2 days prior to her murder, though. They had been going on for a long time.
Okay.
Every time they broke up, and they dated for like 3 years on and off, and every time they would break up or get close to it, he was sending messages like that.
Right.
Saying that he was going to kill himself or he was going to kill her.
Oh, Jesus.
So let's go through their relationship real quick. When Emma and Riley met, it seemed like a perfect love story where the football star falls in love with a cheerleader. However, Emma's parents quickly noticed that Riley was becoming increasingly possessive over their daughter. Riley wanted nothing to do with Emma's friends, and he didn't want Emma to spend time with her friends as well. Mm-hmm. He began to control what she wore, and he would go to her work and spend hours waiting for her to finish her shift, basically watching her.
That's fucking creepy. That's beyond creepy right there. This guy didn't have nothing else to do. Like, get your own fucking job. Like, how?
Exactly.
He's 2 years older than her.
And after a few weeks of having an on and off again relationship, Riley began sending Emma aggressive Snapchat messages saying that he wanted to kill her and threatening to kill himself if she broke up with him. One of the messages read, "I'll read about you in the obituaries." The young couple fell into a horrible cycle of terrible fights, breakups, and then getting back together. Understandably, Emma's parents did not like Riley and later claimed that they never trusted him. So this has been going on for a while. There were a lot of signs. And like I said, at a certain point, I would probably end up in prison taking matters into my own hands if you're threatening my daughter to that extent.
That's
because there's nothing the cops are going to do about it, And then
you're right.
Eventually, look at what it leads to.
Because I mean, how many kids talk this bullshit and never do anything though?
That's true.
To defend the cops and Emma's parents. It's easy to sit here and be like, oh, they should have done this. They should have got rid of him. They should have beat the shit out of him or whatever. But so much bullshit spills out of the mouths of teenagers. It's so much of it is just not taken serious. It's like, how can you weed through it? How do you know who's going to act on it and who isn't?
It's tough because 95% of it never amounts to anything.
Right.
It's
think
just
of all
kids talking
think
shit.
of all the dumb shit you said to people as a teenager, man. There's tons of things I said to people I didn't mean as a teenager,
right.
Hurtful things and arguments and whatnot, because you feel like whatever's going on right then is your whole fucking world and your whole life revolves around it and you don't care about nothing else. and you say horrible shit, like I'll read about you in the obituaries, like that shit just gets spilled out. I think it does. Very
Would
often.
you ever say that though?
No.
I can't picture
Not
myself
a
ever
chance.
saying that to somebody.
I've never threatened someone's life in that way,
Right.
aside from probably being like a little kid and like saying it to my sisters or
Well,
whatever.
like you
I'm
get in
gonna
a
kill
fist,
you.
you get into a
Yeah.
you get in a fist fight with one of your best friends or something. I'll fucking kill you. You know,
Yeah,
it's different.
yeah. Like other than that, no.
But like sending a message to someone that's thought out that says, "I'll read about you." In
I
the
was just
obituaries,
about to
man,
say, I
that's
have
like crossing
never,
another line.
never threatened someone's life in such a calm, calculated way where I actually texted out or wrote something down. No.
Right.
No.
So as this behavior progressed, her parents even took steps to ban Riley from coming over to the house and took Emma's phone for a while in hopes of controlling the situation. But of course, teenagers are going to talk if they want to talk. Riley ended up getting Emma an iPod Touch that she could text him over Wi-Fi, and they continued to talk.
Bro, I mean, if you got Wi-Fi, you can talk on anything, and everybody's got Wi-Fi. You have to have it. I mean, you have to have it for work. Most people do. Most and
nowadays,
kids,
any device you can get a messenger app on
Right.
one of those devices, and
Kids got to have it for school. Kids got to have it for school,
Yep.
keeping in touch with their teachers. And that's before college, let alone when you get into college. I mean, damn, you need internet for everything in college.
yeah, and
So-
kids know technology better than their parents at this point.
That's
so
right. They've grown
You're
up
not even
with
going to know the ways that they're going to be able to contact someone if they want to.
Oh, hell yeah. There's so many apps you can get to communicate with people. Nobody'd ever know.
So despite her parents' best efforts, they maintained a relationship. Emma's parents became so desperate at one point that they didn't allow Emma out of the house except to go to school and practice.
See, what more can they
When
do
Emma-
other than that? You know?
Yeah, there's not much more.
Because-
You just try and...
And also, I know you're trying to protect Emma, but you're almost punishing her if you do any more than this. This is not Emma's fault. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not her fault. She's trying to get out of this relationship over and over and over again. And as a young girl, I'm sure she's afraid, and she's trying to let him down in the easiest way possible. She's trying to.
I agree, 100%.
How do I break this off without him doing something drastic? I just need him out of my life to go find somebody else. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want him to be hurt. I don't want him to be emotionally hurt. I just want him to be gone. And
Right.
that
and
was just
the
off
whole
the
time he
table.
keeps threatening to kill himself. She doesn't want that either.
No, she doesn't want that either. So she doesn't want that blood on her hands. So it's easy to
Right.
see why Emma stayed in contact with him. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So when Emma saw the pictures of Riley with other girls when he had gone off to college, she decided that if it wasn't going to take he wasn't going to take the relationship seriously, she wasn't going to either. She broke it off. Riley did not take this latest breakup well and tried to overdose by taking a handful of Vicodin, but he survived. That
Blast.
leads us back to November 21st, 2016. Following Emma's murder, the police are trying to make sense of this murder. And when the investigators began asking her friends if there was anyone who would try to harm Emma, they started hearing all of this about their relationship. Riley Gall, his name kept coming up over and over again, including Riley's friends. One of Riley's friends told the police that Riley had mentioned to them that he had taken a gun from his grandparents' house for protection a week before Emma's death. And they had also received a call from Riley's grandpa, whose his gun had been taken, a Glock 9mm had been taken,
Yep.
and now he sees that his grandson's ex-girlfriend is murdered in her own bed, and he feels it pertinent to report this information to the police, thankfully. However, his mom wouldn't have done so because his mom, I think, helped to create this monster. Riley's mom seemed like a terrible person from everything
Well-
I gather. She was trying to, I mean, I know you're going to try to defend your son and all that, but she had been putting up messages
Yeah.
prior to Emma's murder online that even made police wonder if she had done this murder. She had said something to the extent of, "If you mess with my son, I will get you,"
Yes. Yes, she did.
on Facebook, like not long before Emma's murder.
Yeah,
So the police were really looking hard at her because of these messages.
They were
or these,
really
posts
convinced of her.
that she had put online.
Like
Yeah.
they were ready to hang her for this. They were like,
But
they were
then
like,
again,
"She's
who
in the
knows
house."
what-
And I'm like, she's not the only
Then
one in
again,
the
who-
house. Hello.
Who knows what her psycho son had been telling her that Emma had been doing to him, though. To be fair, let's give her the benefit of the doubt for a second and
Dude.
say maybe Riley, knowing him, he could have been going home and telling his mom she was doing all kinds of heinous shit to him.
Bro, and also, listen, I always give mamas the benefit of the doubt because the mama is always going to protect their baby. Like, that's
true.
That's in their instincts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Riley was going to her being like, "Yeah, I slapped her around a few times, but then she dumped me." Her mom be like, "That bitch," you know? I mean, it just, mama's always going to take your side, especially when it's her little boy and it's her only little boy. I mean, come on now. And you know how so many killers, man, they have mama issues too.
Yeah.
So this could be something a little bit deeper rooted, something that was started a long time ago, you know?
Very true. Yeah, and like I said, who knows what he was telling her?
That's right.
He could have made her out to be this monster, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then posting something about, if you mess with my son, I'll get you. Like if all you're hearing about Emma is that she's doing this terrible stuff to your son, then I can at least empathize with that message a little bit.
Well, she's probably not even really hearing that. She's probably just seeing how distraught Riley is on a daily basis, because Riley was genuinely fucked up over this. But I don't think it was because he loved Emma. It's just because he wanted Emma and his cake and eat it too. He wanted to have Emma at home, and then he wanted to have girls at college, and then he wanted to have this and that.
I'm sure he had a very large ego, being a good football player on the team, being popular and all that stuff. And then this
sir. Yep.
Freshman, when you met her, is too good for you now. Like, I'm sure it just killed his ego.
Oh, it destroyed it. And so he's at home broken and crying day in and day out, and his mama has to deal with that. And she's pissed off. Yeah. She's like, who hurt my baby?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she sees.
And so on November 20th, the day leading up to Emma's murder, Riley had texted Emma over 60 times, with Emma not responding. And after Emma's death, Riley Gall's friends were concerned about his well-being. They told detectives about a secret that Gall had shared with his friend Alex McCarty on the weekend that Emma was killed. Here's a quote. "He ended up telling me that he was so fearful for his life that he had stolen his grandfather's gun and showed it to me," McCarty said. "I held it in my hand that night. I was very worried," McCarty continued. "He reassured me over and over that he was the farthest thing from suicidal. He was just so scared that these people that were out to get him were out to get Emma as well." So these fictional people that had supposedly abducted him, kidnapped him, and beat him up and threw him in Emma's friend's yard.
Right.
Those were the people he stole his grandfather's gun to defend himself from.
Man, what a sociopath.
Yeah.
What an absolute sociopath. He really went through some trouble to do all this. Holy shit, he did.
What he was trying to do was scare Emma that there was these people out to get her, and he was the hero that was going to save her, and that would get her back with him.
Yes.
That would save everything.
Yes. He was creating a false danger to come and save everyone from. Yeah. Including Emma.
Yeah. So Riley and his mom lived with Riley's grandparents, and that's how he was able to steal the gun from his grandfather. And when the police got information from the grandfather that his gun had been stolen, they had to get their hands on that gun and see if it matched the ballistics, because they were able to find some shell casings outside of Emma's bedroom in the grass where the gun had been fired.
Yes,
one and they wanted that gun so they can match the casings to that gun. They actually they get a search warrant for Riley's grandparents' house, and they are unable to find the gun. However, they found the case for the gun. And if you've ever bought a gun at a gun store, you know that when you buy a gun, it usually comes with a little manila envelope with one or two shell casings in it that had been fired through that weapon, so that those can be presented for ballistics evidence in situations like this. And that was luckily in the case was the manila envelope with the shells that had been fired through that gun from the manufacturer.
Wow.
So now they had the casings that they could match from that gun to the casings at the crime scene, and of course they match. The Glock that was stolen from Riley's grandpa was the gun that was used to kill Emma Walker.
Yes. Now, who pulled the trigger?
Exactly. Was it Riley's mom or was it Riley? That was basically their only two options.
Yeah,
in their
pretty
mind.
much. Exactly.
So at this point, police bring in Riley for an interview. He refused to use Emma's name. It was a very bizarre interview.
Oh my God,
Riley.
so strange, right?
So strange. He refused to use Emma's name, this girl that he supposedly loved and had been stalking and all this stuff. He only referred to her as the girl.
I think he's trying. I think he's trying to distance himself from her. He's almost like, I don't even the girl that was killed. Oh yeah, I think I heard something. It's like, dude, come on.
The one I've been stalking every day and messaging relentlessly. I don't
the
know,
one you've been in a relationship with for 3 years. You fuckhead.
Yeah,
like that's the one.
Yeah.
Like I just don't get his point of view here. He must really think everyone's a fucking idiot. But that's a trademark
a common
sociopath,
thread. That's
right?
a common thread. Yep. Arrogance. Remember we talked about that. One of the one common theme with every serial killer is arrogance.
That's right.
I'm not saying he was a serial killer, but he may have gone on to be one.
Yeah.
While being questioned by Knox County Sheriff's Office detectives, Gall's answers were vague. He denied to the detectives that he had shown McCarty his grandfather's gun, and he claimed that he didn't have the gun in his possession. After the interview, McCarty and Gall texted him and asked why he told... Oh, McCarty said that Gall texted him and asked why he had told detectives about the gun. So now he's pissed at his friend for telling the cops about that whole gun thing.
Right.
McCarty then drove over to Riley's house. He said, I told him that he had no reason to withhold the weapon if he had nothing to hide, and that, if anything, it could prove that he was innocent. Very true. Like, if this isn't the murder weapon, what do you got to hide?
Yeah,
turn it
it in.
You know?
Turn it in.
He said, I just asked him, just outright, like, what happened to the gun that you showed me? And he said, I returned it to my grandpa. You don't have to worry about it. At that moment, in a funny moment of fate, his mom walks out while they're sitting there talking and begins questioning Riley in front of him about the whereabouts of the gun.
Oh, awkward.
So he's caught in a lie. McCarty says he bold-faced lied to me, and he was caught right then by his mom.
Oh, man.
So now he knows the gun is still somewhere.
Yeah.
Either Riley's already gotten rid of it, or he still has it in his possession somewhere.
Also, his mom has no tact, right? Why would you talk about that in front of company? You know your son is unstable and he just stole a gun and someone was killed, and then you're gonna be like, hey, where's that gun, by the way? Like right in front of his friend. Like I don't feel like that was very smart either, but pretty funny nonetheless.
Yeah. So in texts, Riley insisted he didn't lie and asked his friends not to speak to police anymore. He's frantic about
unrelated,
getting caught,
though.
McCarty
not talking
said.
to police, that's unrelated. I'm not guilty, but just don't talk to him. Unrelated.
Yeah, just generally don't do that.
Yeah, just don't.
He's frantic about getting caught, McCarty said. He was on edge, said Noah Walton, another friend of Riley's. These were the two main friends that Riley would hang out on a regular basis, go over to their house, play video games with, hang out.
Right.
And these two play a huge role in getting Riley busted here. Here we go. He was like, the only thing we can do is I'll just have to get rid of it. I'll have to get rid of the gun in order for me to not get pinned for something that I didn't do. In order for me to not go to jail for something that I didn't do, I have to get rid of this weapon, said McCarty. That's
for something
what
I didn't
Riley
do.
was telling them.
Did I mention I didn't do this? Did I mention? This is something I didn't do.
McCarty said, this is when I knew he did it. Of course.
What was
Riley
the
thinks
giveaway?
he's so smart, but everyone sees right through his bullshit.
Oh, yeah. What was the giveaway? Was it the three times he said I didn't do this in one sentence?
Right. I just got to get rid of this weapon that's totally unrelated to the crime just because I don't want them to pin me with this weapon that has nothing to do with the crime.
Exactly. I have the same type of weapon that could have committed this,
Yeah,
and I just want to get rid of it,
Yeah. McCarty and Walton said they knew if there was a chance Gall could get rid of the gun they believed was the murder weapon, they had to stop it. So they reach out to police and they basically say, hey, maybe we can get Riley comfortable, get him to our house and show us the gun, or admit to having the gun, or admit to having done it. And so they basically set up a sting operation with Riley's best friends, Noah Walton and Alex McCarty, to lay a trap against Riley.
Yeah.
These two young men contacted us and asked if they could help us get what they believe to be the murder weapon back, said Detective Merritt. Obviously, there's concerns for their safety. We went over all that with them, and they were still very adamant that they wanted to do this. They understand the dangers and the concerns, but they wanted to do it. And you can see how. I mean, you got Riley here, who is a very troubled young man. He's already, we believe, killed his ex-girlfriend, and he's been suicidal. He's already attempted suicide. And if you get caught, like if he catches you wired up, trying to get him caught, what's to stop him from shooting you guys and then himself? It's a very dangerous situation.
Yes, it is. Very.
He has nothing to lose at that point.
But also, I think that Riley is not suicidal. I think he's too arrogant to kill himself. And he's also, he's obviously too much of a chicken shit even to dispose of the gun by himself. It's like, why wouldn't you just go take the gun by yourself? Why even
seriously?
conversate with all
why is it
these
even
friends?
still around?
Why are you talking to your friends? Why do you want your friends to go with you to dump the gun? Why implement them? It's like he just feels lonely and scared. He wants, it's the old misery loves company. I honestly think he thought, if I implement my friends in this, then I'll have people who know what I feel who are also guilty and accessories to this crime.
Yeah, which makes him even more of an asshole. Take your friends down with you. Why don't you?
Exactly.
Seriously, like you would think he would have just, like, after shooting through Emma's bedroom,
go throw
just
it away
gotten
now.
rid of the gun on the way home, like threw it into a marsh somewhere or something.
What are you doing? Yeah.
But some reason he still has the gun.
Yeah, I think
So
he
on
thought
Tuesday
his
night-
lie. He thought real quick. Sorry, I think he thought his lie that he took the gun for protection was going to work, and then now he gets to keep the gun and get away with it. And then when that lie didn't work, he went to Plan B.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So on Tuesday night, just one day after Emma's murder, the detectives wired the two teens up with microphones, a transmitter where police could listen in, and a video camera hidden in a key fob, and planned out a sting operation to recover the murder weapon. My head was definitely spinning. There was so much going on, said Noah Walton. The guys invited Riley to come over to Walton's house to play video games, something they did regularly. They pointed a hidden camera at the couch where Riley sat. This footage is in the documentary. It's all over the place. You can find it on YouTube. Quite interesting. That's crazy that they hit a camera in a key fob, man. It must have been a tiny little camera.
Oh, God, yeah, dude. They can put cameras in anything now.
Yeah,
Let me think about
true.
it.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is.
Soon there will be like fake bees flying around you, and you don't even know you're being recorded.
What do you mean soon? They
Probably is
are.
already. We've seen Black Mirror, right?
That's right. Creepy.
Riley denied killing Emma and began to coach his friends on what to tell police, saying that they should tell detectives they were on LSD when they gave their statements before. You were drunk and you were high. Your mind was altered. Whatever statement you gave them wasn't a straightforward answer. Walton says he basically wanted to nullify our previous statements by saying we were under the influence and we didn't know what we were talking about. I was like, okay, sure, bro, my bad. I didn't know I was going to get you in trouble.
That's what you say.
These dudes played it good, man.
Sorry,
Like,
man. I didn't know going to the cops.
I'm sure they
would
were
get
nervous,
arrested.
but they didn't come across as nervous. They did a good job of playing it cool.
They did a great job. Yeah, they did.
But then again, like, all they were doing was letting Riley spew his bullshit. And they knew that's all they had to do. Just let him talk his shit, and we'll just go along with it. That's what he wants us to do.
Well, he wanted to tell them. Like I said before, why would you even want this company? Obviously, you want to share this burden with somebody, and you pick these two friends. And they knew that. They knew that they were in good with him. He was just, like you said, he was going to spill his guts because that's what he had to do. He was in such a time of distress. He had to get this shit off his chest.
That's right. So as they're sitting on the couch, then Riley then suggested that they go to the Bluffs, a wooded area behind the Tennessee River where local teams often hung out and drank and got high. He wanted to go there to get rid of the gun by throwing it into the water. They asked him something that they wanted to ask him all along: why, if the gun wasn't a murder weapon, why wouldn't he just turn it in and prove his innocence? They could check the ballistics, see that it doesn't match the shell casings from Emma's house, and prove your innocence. He showed his guilt in the moment when he answered, clamming up and saying, "We just need to get rid of it."
Yep.
I mean, there's no more guilty answer than that. We just need to get rid of it. He said, "I don't have a good answer for the question you just asked. It just has to go."
Yep. That's all you need to know.
Yep. So the three teens then hopped into Alex McCarty's car. On the way, they stopped at Riley's stepfather's house. This is where he'd been keeping the gun and some other stuff. He'd came out of his stepfather's basement with a black trash bag. Riley ran inside, grabbed the trash bag. McCarty and Walton said that they tried to convince Riley to show them the gun, but it didn't work. "We did try to coax it," said McCarty. McCarty and Walton tried to keep things casual as possible by telling jokes as they drove, singing along to the radio, and picking up some fast food. Man, I wish I remembered what it was that they got fast food-wise.
I'm pretty sure it was
I remember seeing
Popeyes,
the video.
dude.
Was it? I remember they
Yeah.
were talking about some sauce. They got like a bunch of this sauce. They were dipping shit in.
Yeah, because it sounded like they said Cajun something. So knowing they're in
Sounds like
Tennessee,
Popeyes.
so it's either Popeyes or like Bojangles. Those are our two
Okay.
like Cajun style restaurants.
I'm suddenly so hungry.
I know, right?
I'd love some fried chicken right now. What Riley didn't know was that Knox County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Steve Sanders was in an unmarked SUV tailing the boys, along with two other undercover vehicles, all in touch with McCarty and Walton through group text. So they're texting with the police while they're riding along with Riley in the car.
Right. Very
And they're just waiting to see the gun. As soon as they see the gun, they can give the go-ahead to bust the car and get Riley in custody.
Right.
But they don't want to blow their cover, and have the cops arrest them and then there not be a gun there. So
Oh God, yeah, that'd be a story right there. You pull over three teenage boys and they got nothing, just freaking throwing them on the ground and whatnot. Yeah, that'd be great. And then you also you give Riley and his mom some ammunition against the police.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So gotta be.
And then
careful.
you can't use the two boys that are willing to do this undercover operation. You can't use them anymore because Riley'd be onto them. So
Precisely.
it would pretty much ruin everything.
Yep.
So the boys eventually parked at an apartment complex. Quote, "He was putting on white gloves and waiting and everything. He was very meticulous about how he got everything out of the bag. Then we just kept waiting and waiting," said McCarty. I told police when we got the bag, I told them we didn't see it yet, but he had a bag full of black clothes, which, man in black, that makes him look quite suspicious there.
Yes, it does.
And supposedly it's in there, and it was about to happen soon. Finally, Riley took out the Glock. "Oh my God, that is a real gun!" exclaimed McCarty when he finally saw it, and they're obviously being recorded so
I
the police
said,
can hear.
that is a real gun.
That is a real
I
gun.
said,
Holy shit,
Code
that's a real gun.
3-4, that is a real gun. We got a real gun in here. Riley's like, why are you talking
Looks
like
like
that?
a Glock 9mm to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine that scene.
Yeah.
sure it
So
took
Walton
forever.
gave the code. Walton gave the code via text message to the police, and in less than 90 seconds, police lit up the car and took Riley into custody. That was the moment that was very dangerous for them. You know, that moment when the gun has been taken out.
Yes.
You'd like to think that when he handed them the gun to look at, like they're just like, I'd be like, I'm keeping this. I'm not giving this back to you until the cops get here.
I'd throw that shit out the window because the cops
Right.
are going to get it before you do. You know, be like, whoop, it's right
Or
there.
just
it's right over there.
clear it, take the magazine out, clear it, and then
There
give it
you
back
go.
to him.
Yeah. Take the magazine out, throw it out one window, throw the gun out the other window. Just sit there with your
Yeah.
hands up.
Yeah. So Walton recalled this moment. He's just freaking out. He's swearing left and right. He says, "I can't go to jail. I can't go to jail." Riley Gall was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and 6 other felony charges, including theft of a firearm and aggravated assault. Inside the trash bag, detectives not only found the murder weapon, but also a treasure trove of evidence. Quote, "There was gloves and trash bags and tennis shoes, the black tape, some of the black clothing," said Sanders. So he was dead to rights. I mean, he was now, they knew definitively he was the killer that was wearing the black clothing, spotted on surveillance footage in the neighborhood.
Right.
It was over.
Yep.
In May of 2018, after a week of testimony and more than 30 witnesses, a jury found Riley Gall guilty of first-degree murder as well as stalking, theft, reckless endangerment, and being in possession of a firearm during a dangerous felony, and he was sentenced to life in prison. His sentence allows the possibility of parole after 51 years when he's 71 years old.
Ooh. God damn, bro.
That sounds about right to me.
That's what he deserves.
Yep,
I'm
100%. He's a
sorry.
dangerous. He's a dangerous
I'm
individual.
sorry. I mean, when he committed this, he's in his early 20s. You know, like
Yeah.
he's developed, and if he's able to do this now, he's able to do it his whole life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Riley's defense attorney argued in court that he had never meant to kill Emma, but he had fired the gun into the home to scare her and get her attention. So they at least came around to the idea that he was the one that had fired the gun into the home.
Well,
That's
they had to.
all that anybody needs to hear.
That's
I mean,
it.
what your intent when you fire into someone's home, what your intentions are irrelevant. We're assuming that you're trying to harm someone. We can't just assume that you're just trying to scare
you're
anybody. You're
trying to-
firing into someone's home.
Right. If you're trying to scare someone, you do a drive-by and you shoot a couple windows out. Like we've seen stuff like that plenty of times in mob hit or not mob hits, but mobs trying to scare people, gangs trying to scare people. That's how you try to scare people. Going and
Well,
and
even
taking
then,
two-
even then, you can't even excuse that. That's
not.
at the very minimum attempted murder.
No, I'm
At
not.
the very minimum, and if you hit someone, it's murder. Period.
I 100% agree. I'm just saying, with the way that those shots were taken,
They were very calculated shots.
completely dismissed argument, in my opinion. You can't.
Yeah.
You shot two.
He knew the exact height of her bed, where her
Yes.
head would be in position. That's where he fired the gun in.
That's right. That's exactly right. Extremely calculated.
If you just wanted to scare her, you would fire the gun like upward into the ceiling, not near where she sleeps.
exactly.
Something along those lines, not directly where her head is.
Or shoot out like at the top of her window or something. Something that's going to wake her up and scare her, but not kill her.
The accuracy of those shots from the outside of the home is it's pretty. It's scary in its own way to me because it tells me like maybe he had been calculating this for a long time. Like he had been almost sizing up how tall her bed, because her bed was tall. It was really tall.
Yeah,
And
but he's
so
her
it's almost like
boyfriend.
he
of
knew
years.
exactly
He's been in that
the
bed,
height
bro.
to fire in at.
He's been in that room numerous times.
Yeah.
He's been in that bed, I'm sure, numerous times.
Yeah.
So if there was times where Emma had to call him because she was home by herself, then there was plenty of times where she was home by herself when Riley had to stop by when they were on good terms. And I'm sure that he was in that bed plenty of times, and he knows exactly where she would be sleeping. And in a one-story home, that's really not that hard of a math problem to figure
Calculation.
out here. It's not that hard of a calculation because you also look at windows. You know where the window heights are. You know how much room is below the windows. You see what I'm saying? It's not a very hard calculation to make. And she lived in a suburban neighborhood where a lot of the houses were probably very similar.
Yeah.
So you factor in all those things, and it's entirely possible, and it was obviously intentional.
Yeah. So in court, following his conviction, asked if he wanted to make a statement. Riley said, "I'm sorry I took Emma away from you. I loved Emma. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her or what I did." Prosecutors would end up calling those words insincere and said that recordings of jail phone calls show Gall practicing his apology ahead of time. They said, quote, "He clearly states in the calls this is something he had to do," Martin said. Gall's defense attorney said, quote, "He never intended to cause her harm, never intended to cause her death. It's been in his heart, in his mind. This has been in just about everything about him. Every day for the rest of his life, wherever he may be, he will have to live with this in that reality."
Yep.
And that is true. I hope he deeply regrets what he's done, and he doesn't get out of prison for early at all. I hope he's 71 at the very least when he gets out.
Yep. He needs to spend his whole life in there. He needs to spend his whole life in there. When he comes out, hopefully he's too feeble to hurt anybody else. But I mean, if that don't teach you a lesson, just put his ass back in there. I mean,
right.
Damn.
Didn't look like quite the athlete anymore when he was in his trial. He put on a good 50 pounds.
Oh yeah, probably stress eating.
Did you see the pictures
No
of him?
exercise.
The prison food was pretty hearty stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd been doing too many burpees in his cell either.
I was about to say you gotta work out with that prison food. It could be a gift. It could help you bulk up.
Didn't exactly turn into Bronson behind bars.
No. I'm sure he spent most of his time sulking and crying in a cell while eating food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's got to be tough, man. But you make your choices.
Something you'd want to wear while in prison, though. Oh my God! Although you have to be careful, you might attract some prison lovers.
That's true. You don't. You got to be careful.
You don't want to smell too good in there.
That's right. Maybe wear a nice.
Maybe go with the unscented.
Yeah, unscented, right? Or maybe a nice lumberjack. Well, actually, you might not want my guy in there. You might want to smell as bad as possible. You know how some criminals, they take that approach. They're like, nah, if I'm just disgusting, nobody will want to fuck with me, literally.
Right. I'm just gonna wipe my own feces all over me. How about that? That might be a good deterrent.
Exactly. But if you're not in prison and you want to smell good, try Oh My Gaia. Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while maintaining effectiveness. At Oh My Gaia, they use only all-natural, paraben, and aluminum-free organic ingredients. And guys, like we alluded to earlier, there's tons of scents to choose from Oh My Gaia. You'll definitely find something you like. Or if you want unscented for hunting season, or for whatever reason, that's fine as well. Maybe you just like your own odor. You like your own pheromones. That's cool. But there's also vanilla, cherry almond, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, Egyptian musk, coconut, dreamsicle, lumberjack, leather, honeysuckle, fireside, bergamot amber, true crime pine, our very own scent, as well as new scents like pear and other scents that are being added all the time. You guys got to check it out at ohmygaia.com. And because you guys are True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the word CREEPER, CREEPER, for 15% off your order. Again, that's at ohmygaia.com or at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram. That's OHMYGAIA.com. Do it, guys.
Try it. You will not be disappointed. Wendy's been with us since the beginning, basically, our earliest sponsor. Give her some support, and trust me, you'll enjoy those awesome products, and they're very reasonably priced, especially with our code.
Yes, 100%. You won't find a better, more affordable organic deodorant. I really don't think so.
No.
All right.
I want to take a minute to thank those of you that have gone and rated review the show this week. I want to say thank you to Talis81 in the United States. Said, been listening since the LV days, and they've come a long way. By far my favorite podcast. Thank you. 5 stars.
We have come a long way.
Yeah, no doubt. And then we got Rachel Misha in the U.S. Said, absolutely hooked. Look forward to the new episodes. Gotta love my wine and true crime nights. Thank you. Makes my week better.
Right on.
Thank you. So yeah, if you guys got a second, go rate and review the show. Even just click 5 stars and throw some fire emojis in if you don't feel like writing anything.
Yep.
And then we'll give you a shout out the following week.
That's it. That's easy enough.
That's all you got to do.
That's
all you got to do.
And if you want to support the show even further,
check out
patreon.com/True Crime Guys. I thought we were going to share it, so I didn't know what we were doing.
Look at that cohesiveness.
Yeah, patreon.com/True Crime Guys. Guys, for just $2 a month, you get access to all of our premium episodes that we release. 1 new premium episode a month, commercial free, and it's usually a big hitter or a bigger case, a popular case. And then if you sign up at the $5 tier or above, you get access to Just the Banter every Friday.
The banter.
Every Friday, guys. Every Friday night or Saturday morning, because we record Just the Banter on Friday afternoons now. So you're getting a fresh banter on that Friday night. We just talked about it that day. So that's a great way to stay up with discussion with us if you guys have questions or topics or whatnot. Of course, we'll talk about the podcast a little bit on there, but a lot of it is just life banter about just
they're supposed to be 30-minute episodes, but we get so bantery that this past one was over an hour. But that's the whole beauty of it. It's banter, so you never know what's going to happen.
That's right. Isn't that so us? I mean, yeah, our last banter was like an hour and 8 minutes, and then the one before that was like 40-something minutes. So you're definitely getting your money's worth on those just the banters. But again, that's every Friday.
And you also get a Gold Creep Van sticker for signing up for that $5 tier as well.
That's right. The Gold Creep Van sticker, very prestigious, the only place that you can get it. You will be in the elite gold sticker holders. And then the $10 tier
gets you into most backstage events, by the way.
That's right. We can't guarantee it, but it's most stuff.
Yes.
Also, at the $10 tier, if you guys, for some reason, want to see our ugly mugs and talk to us, you can do that on a Zoom call or whatnot. If you guys are a $10 patron or looking to work out a Zoom call, let us know. You can email us at truecrimeguys@gmail.com, or you can send us a message over Patreon. So, all right.
That's right.
Also, check out our other show. If you guys are all caught up, maybe you've been a patron for years, you're already caught up on that backlog, which is God knows how many files now. Check out Strange and Unexplained. You guys, if you search True Crime Guys in your podcast app, Strange and Unexplained should pop up. You'll see the logo as two velociraptors. It's a True Crime Guys production. It's another show that we do where we focus on missing persons, unsolved cases, weird cults and phenomena, just all sorts of things like that. And basically, I cover that show. I give you the facts, I give you my opinion, and then Lauren comes in at the end with the Lauren synopsis and also gives his opinion and his feeling about the case and what he thinks may or may not have happened. So you get you get a lot of
every week
perspectives.
that show is up.
Yes, every week. Every Monday, a new Strange and Unexplained is released on the free platform. And if you'd like to join Patreon for that show as well, it's patreon.com/S&U podcast. And you guys will get early access on Thursdays to those episodes. And then you will get another show that I do on Mondays called Strange Shorts. So check this out, guys. If you are a True Crime Guys patron and a Sandu patron, then you will get new content on, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then
Every day of the year. Every day, 365.
right. I feel like I'm missing something. Wednesday, Monday. Okay, you get Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All of those days, something new from TCG production is being released if you're on Patreon. So you guys will be hard pressed. Right. You guys will be hard pressed to miss out on any TCG interactions. So we appreciate you guys. If you are already supporting all of those avenues of the podcast, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you guys so much. That's a great way to help the show, as well as merch. True Crime Guy or Threadless, truecrimeguys.threadless.com is our new merch site. If you guys want to check that out, we have some up-to-date and current merch designs on there as well. And of course, links to everything that we plug is right below.
I was going to say, all you have to do is scroll down in this episode description, and you got links to everything, including our sources for this episode and every episode.
And any sponsors.
Where we got the information.
Any sponsors as well, any mid sponsors that you guys may hear in our ads. If you forget the code word, if you forget the link, just scroll down, guys. If you guys want to check out any of the sponsors that are featured on True Crime Guys, everything should be down below. And if it's not, hit me up. Hit us an email at truecrimeguys@gmail.com, whatever. We'll get it sorted out. All right.
Does that do it?
I think that's it.
All right. See you next week. Keep creeping.
Keep creeping, guys.
True Crime Guys. In the desert, we like a mirage. It's okay if you clicked on us because you thought we was True Crime Garage. Now we ain't mad at you. Sit down, let us talk at you. I'm talking to the creeper army. We out here making murder, get murder, get murder. True Crime Guys. In the desert, we like a mirage. It's okay if you clicked on us because you thought we was True Crime Garage. Now we ain't mad at you. Sit down, let us talk at you. I'm talking to the creeper army. We out here making murder charming.